Yeah, I recommend this to anyone and everyone. Yeah, spiritual healing. I feel like I had spiritual surgery up in here.
Welcome, Anthony. Do you want Anthony sitting here for a moment?
Right, now first of all, you better turn around and introduce him.
North Carolina.
This is Anthony from North Carolina. Welcome.
Good, all right. Can you whip your shoes off, please? That's normally the case. That's all I get them to take off. Otherwise, take the log off. Doesn't matter. Okay? Now, would you mind, I'm going to get you to face down, put your nose in here, and I'll put some paper towel on there, put this underneath your feet, right? Now, I want a little towel of my own. Just the blue one? The blue one too. Oh, I'll change that over. I'll take that white one. Okay, thanks. Now, just remind me what his name is.
Anthony.
Anthony, thank you. Sorry to hold you fellows up, but I just felt that those messages I gave you were necessary to be heard for the audience. Okay. So, Anthony's here on the table, face down. All my patients, I get them to face down. Because it's comfortable, and also it gives them confidence. Okay. Well, I'm tuning into him, and when I start to check to find out the extent of this negative aura around him, I'll put some tension on my hand. See? And here and here, it's impossible for me to touch this. Here, I can touch him here because there's no tension in it. Here, but here, so that's as close as I can get to him. Because I can touch him here, so on, so on, so on. But to touch him, I've got to remove that negative aura, which is completely around him. And so I'm going to do that on the back, and I'll roll them up, and I'll do them the front. All right. God. So he's picked up a lot of negativity, and where did he pick it up from? The people he comes in contact with.
I'll explain a few things as Geoffrey's going.
That's a good idea.
And can we have a tissue? So basically Geoffrey's tuned into the body the whole time, and he is connecting with tension in his hand to remove any negative or negativity in the aura, and hence the sort of scraping motions. So if you want to, whilst you're sitting watching Geoffrey, you can feel that for me. Get your hand and just do this. But do it with gusto. Do it with some tension. You can do this when your hands are loose, okay? But you're doing it like this. So what he's doing is he's tuning into the electromagnetic aura or field around the body. We all have different layers of aura, and the Buddha's aura apparently expanded 5 miles out. But generally, a person who's balanced, their aura, you may feel their field about a foot and a half away, and then as that aura opens, they relax. It might expand 6 foot, 8 foot, the whole room. But generally, you find that people who are balanced will have their aura relatively close to them, which would be about that far. You can consciously draw your aura in, and it could be about 2 inches away. But for someone who's ungrounded and someone who's sort of maybe too open, who isn't in a position to, they're not thinking clearly, they're getting a little bit muddled or airy-fairy, we may say. Their aura may be flapping around, about 3 foot around them, but then they're gathering up energy in shopping malls and coming home feeling exhausted. They might come home with an entity attached to them who wants to find the light to go home. So, if someone's on drugs, been drinking a lot, that will open up the aura. And some people do have holes in the aura, which makes it interesting because different things like psychic hooks, psychic attacks, parasitical, etherical energies that are perhaps not so good for you can enter easier. So you want to really keep your aura healthy and balanced by being balanced. Dip yourself up, drink plenty of water, eat good nourishing food, have positive thinking. So even by just doing this technique, people go, oh, I feel so much better.
Now then, what comes next? Clearing the aura on this side, I've completed that. Alright, I'll do the same on the other side later when I roll him over, or her over. This time I want to check to see if he's got any extra entities with him, as though somebody's put a curse on him or something along those lines. Oh, in tune with Anthony. In tune with Anthony. Has he got any extra friends with him? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's got a couple of extra entities with him, spirit entities. So, well, thank you. Very handy. Okay. Now, if Anthony is happy about it, I'm going to ask them to leave. If you're happy about that, in mind, and he says yes. And I won't do it unless they give the approval. So I come along to the feet.
Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, Anthony's God. Thank you for being here. We're now going to ask our friends to leave into the light, out through the crown chakra, and into the light, and never to return, never to return. And so it goes on. Okay, thank you.
The process to this is in your step-by-step paperwork within your manual there, your little green folder. So you'll find that under the heading Removal of Negative Entities. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. I'm going to ask you to leave. And this is a voluntary thing. You're moving it. It's as soon as it wants to come back here. All right. We're not going to push you out. It's a voluntary thing. Okay, going up here through the legs. Okay, now then, up through the buttocks, there, down to this the base chakra. Yes, okay, all right, okay. Fine, way ahead. All right. Very good, very good. Thank you for your cooperation. Good. Thank you. Moving up right through here, and here's the heart chakra. Now, hold on, okay. There we are. I've got the two spirit beings here, you see. After right in through, past the heart chakra, to the crown, the base chakra of the head. All right. Now then, at the count of 3, we're going to ask you to leave out through the crown. But in the meantime, we've got to hold it there and go through the top of the head. That's right, right. There. And those of you who are clairvoyant, you can see all of this. Good job, okay. I'll make an incision here, up here. Double incision. Here we are. Now then, at the count of 3, we're going to ask you to leave. Thank you. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. Out they go, right there, through the window, out to the light, and never to return. Thank you for leaving. And the seal is up again. There we are. Thank you, thank you. Now then, we'll go back over again. Okay. Thank you. Now then, Anthony Spirit, has he got any friends with him now? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you, Spirit. Good, that's lovely. Good, so there, that's dealing with that spiritual side of it. So now we come back to the physical body,
which you can follow in your colour consultation form.
So put the feet together to see if their feet are the same length.
Well, they appear to be quite okay at present. This is actually the right one. It's just a slight longer, but that'll be okay for the time being.
Don't be over proud and say to yourself you don't need a stool or something. You bring this up and you look at this here, any issues in here. And this is the right leg. And so you're putting energy into these places as you go through. And then the heel right here. And so I put a bit of energy into here, put in here. This is in the right leg. Right leg. Good. And this is like the left leg. See, nowhere near the same. Yeah, very good. Come up here.
So Geoffrey's using his hands as a pendulum, as a dowsing instrument. So what you're finding is he's totally connected with Anthony's body, and his hands are used with tension to actually find an area of low energy or block, and that gives him that sense to apply energy there. So Geoffrey works with the blue light energy. So when he says apply energy, he might be applying like a beam of light through his fingers or his thumb. The Clendinning doesn't manipulate. We're not chiropractors or we're not massaging. He's running energy in there. So if you can imagine...
You may find that's a bit tender in there. Here in the Achilles tendon here. You feel all that all the way up here.
Imagine that you are always connected to Creator God and the earth, so therefore you are like a tuning fork. There's a constant stream of light coming through from the universe through you and out through you. And so it's applying that light energy, and for those of you who've done Reiki, that energy directly to the area you're working on.
So the left leg with the Achilles, I can feel that, and likewise in his knee. You probably could do some chicken broth, bone broth for himself, but the Achilles here is not too bad. And these, both knees need attention. Okay. What actually happens is that the cartilage gets worn out. Okay. Good. Moving up here.
It's great to do the Clendinning technique in pairs. One person can be the scribe, whilst the other one works on the person. So Lisa and Tom, perhaps you can get up and speak about working together at the expos with Geoffrey and how it's worked there. And Ed and myself, we've been scribes for Geoffrey quite a lot, but you learn so much by doing that.
Normally I go around the other side, so me leaning over them, you see. You can feel this. Now this is a right arm. If you're a good piano player, I can tell you there's something interesting about that. They don't have a carpal tunnel, you see, because they're moving their wrists and everything like that all the time, see. And the shoulder, right out here. Now, and then the shoulder, something I'll deal with later on. But in other words, remember, but with the shoulders, you should be, if you're a driver, you should be able to look out the rear window of your vehicle without the mirror, but you can't. The reason is because you start to seize up in the whole neck muscle and the shoulder. That's what's happening, you see. And so there's certain exercises you can do to ensure that you can do just what I've said. So I'll leave that be. Now let's look at the rectum. Rectum. Any chances on the rectum? And up over the coccyx, and then the spine. Here, just right here, just above the coccyx. And you've got your mind on this, and just straighten the spine. Straighten the spine there. Very good. Okay. Right, coming up here, through the spine, further up the spine here. Another place on here. Right. Come on. Okay, just ask to move over a little bit there. Good. Lovely. Okay, took a deep breath then. Okay, good. Lovely. All right. Now then, right kidney, left kidney. I could use a divining rod or dowsing instrument to do this. Even the photographer here today, he's probably interested in all of what's going on here. He could use this worldwide, you know that? Okay. Now the adrenal glands, he's under stress. This guy's under stress, a pile of stress. So therefore he's got to take something there to calm him down. See? And possibly more important is to let go all those things that created distress in prior to yesterday. And that means letting every yesterday go. And when I say that, and I say it in all seriousness, only he knows, or rather his mother knows, whether she wanted him in the first place. Do you understand? So therefore you've got to clear all that. And I could go to great length and tell you how to clear every yesterday in your life. Right. Coming up here. And the lung. Any problem in the lung? Left lung, that's all right. Now then,
Any whiplash when he's driving? Not at all. Coming over the top. Here we go. Now, not only here, but he's a bit confuzzled inside here, and so on. So, very good. Now, remember, men, all you men, remember that every woman loves their head rubbed at night time, or any time. They love their head being rubbed, okay? Do you remember that? And there's a couple of things the women don't like. They don't like a man who drinks too much, or a man who's dive-bombing all the time. You'll understand what I'm talking about here. Okay, just double check. Fine, very good. Fine, lovely. Good show. That'll be fine enough for you for the time being. Okay, now that we're going to roll him over, and in doing so we need a little pillow to go under his head, and I need a towel or something to put under his legs. Anthony, we're going to roll you over to the other side, please. You may need to get off the table and get back on again if you need to. Okay. Now we want a towel to put underneath here. Good long towel? Nothing doing. The shortfall. Never
Good
mind.
small towel.
The main thing. Under just good show. Put it there. You've got to be comfortable. All right? At all times. At all times. All right. So I'm going to clear the aura on this side. Now normally I take my shoes off. I don't leave my shoes on, but for the convenience of today, my feet are swollen. I think they're taking a bit to get my feet back in the shoes again. All right. So again, see, it cannot get touched close to him. So, he's got lovely socks here.
So as we go through the Clendinning technique, we're talking constantly with the body to be focused and connected with it, and we use the Louise Hay book to actually create the affirmation positive thoughts. So Geoffrey mentioned on the other side, the knees. So I'm just going to turn to knees and read this out. And the idea is Anthony repeats back the affirmation 3 times. And that way his mind focuses on the positive to create change. So Anthony, could you repeat back the affirmation, I am flexible and flowing.
I am flexible and flowing.
And say it 3 times.
I am flexible and flowing.
Again.
I am flexible and flowing.
Great. The other area was it the adrenals? Yeah. So adrenals, repeat please. I love and approve of myself.
I love and approve of myself.
3 times.
I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself.
It is safe for me to care for myself.
It is safe for me to care for myself. It is safe for me to care for myself. It is safe for me to care for myself.
Great. Is there any other area? Right shoulder. you repeat, I choose to allow all my experiences to be joyous and loving.
I choose all my experience to be loving and joy.
I choose to allow all my experiences to be joyous and loving.
I choose the experience to be joyous and loving.
I choose to allow
All
my experiences to be joyous and loving.
be joyous and loving.
Great. Okay, so if something's not listed here, you just look for the nearest thing. So I'll look for ankle. Because Achilles isn't there, so
Always double check everything I do. Just like go back and do it again.
Can you repeat, I deserve to rejoice in life.
I deserve to be joyous in life.
I deserve to rejoice in life.
I deserve to be joyous in life.
And again,
I deserve to be joyous in life.
I accept all the pleasure life has to offer.
I accept all the pleasure life has to offer.
Again,
I accept all the pleasure life has to offer.
and again.
I accept all the pleasure life has to offer.
Fantastic.
Now, I wonder if Anthony has got any more entities here. Double check. Okay? And check with Anthony. You got here right?
Entities here, yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Very good. No more.
Just double checking.
It is unusual to have more than 5 entities, but people do. So don't assume, if you know it's still strong with 5, go 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. They'll feel very relieved afterwards.
Now that might be a bit tender for you up in there. Yeah? You feel that, Anthony?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. That's the sciatic nerve. Now let me tell you a story about that. Just shows you how to believe in yourself. I drove my tractor back to the farm about 50 miles. I bought a new pair of boots, laced them up, and when I got to the farm, I couldn't walk properly. So the next day I went to see a doctor. And what did he do? He sent me to a specialist in Auckland, 30 miles away. When I saw the specialist, he said, "You've got a sciatic problem. You're going to have to wear these corsets for the rest of your life." Well, any time I want to have a piddle, I had to take blooming corsets off. They got under my skin. So I went to the Whole Health Trust in Auckland, where there's a Chinese fellow who was involved in healing himself. Oh, he said, "That's the sciatic nerve." So he showed me. It was up here to the left of there, or if it was in this other leg, it just alongside the ankle. There's a sinew goes all the way up here. That's the sciatic nerve. Well, blow me down, you work on that and caresses and so like that. Throw out the corsets, you didn't need them. Wouldn't need them. Yeah. You learn these things by an independent way, you see. Good.
So in the advanced course, the practitioner's course, you will learn about the sciatic release, the RSI release, shoulder release, release, plus many, many more other techniques. What you have in your step-by-step process is the process that we're sharing with you in this workshop.
Push my hand right down, please.
There's also information, this is an advanced technique for releasing the shoulder. You will learn more in depth about the vitamins, minerals and herbs we test for. So just treat this introductory as observation, it's information, and get proficient with your dowsing and read the little blue book and learn about the body and where the body parts are and working with the energy, and you'll be doing well.
Now, as I mentioned to you, the piano player don't get any carpal tunnel, you see?
Because they move their fingers, moving their hands all the time. Now, when there's a lady on the table, and I bend the arm up here with this left arm, they've got to take a deep breath. So you can take a deep breath. Now push, 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 oh, push. Good. 2 more, please. Push.
So there's just resistance being applied, there's no pressure, and you're working with the person's strength.
Excuse my back to the people that on that side. Now then.
So I've done the limbs. Now we've got the torso there, from the sexual side here to the stomach here, and the cardiac or the heart area here. So if this was a woman, I'd be looking at the left side of the vagina or right side of the vagina, you see. Okay, but for a man, you check him out. Left testy, right testy. The urethra and the bladder. Any problem with bladder? That's all right. It's okay.
So you're not touching, you're skimming over, and you'll be using your pendulum whilst you're asking the question and focusing on that particular organ or, body part, following the colour chart.
If there were to be a woman on here, and actually more women come to see me than men do, but I'd ask there the vaginal tract, the cervix and the uterus, left ovary, left fallopian tube, right ovary, right fallopian tube, and so on, you see. So it is, you can check all that out. But I've got a male here, so now I'm coming up through here, and the rectum is okay. Okay, now the appendix and so on. Any trouble with the appendix? Well, that's all right. Now don't be surprised at these questions. Any STD, HIV, fungal infection, any parasites? Any parasites? No. Emotional traumas. You've got a pile of emotional traumas. You got to get rid of those. Got to get rid of those. Bring my stool back.
So Geoffrey will have already checked out if it was suitable to mention about the STDs in a demonstration, so he knew it was clear, so he's mentioning it, but you wouldn't tell people's private details.
A good opportunity to speak about this. All the things that have happened since the day they were born. I've had some, how would I call it? Confessions, perhaps I've heard, from male and female. Can you imagine a woman telling me all about what happened to her when she was 3 years old? She was sodomized and then raped by both father and uncle. You see, I'm not mentioning names. But I had a book here written by a lady who decided to put it all in writing. And she's now a preacher. But it gave her a chance to write it all down. And I'm going to tell you something about myself. You see, if it happened to me, it can happen to anybody. And that was, I was about 7 years old, and we as a family went visiting to another family for lunch. And while I was preparing it, I was sent out to go and pick blackberries together with a young teenager, about 14. And when we were out of sight amongst this great big blackberry bush, he grabbed hold of me, took my pants down and tried to rape me. He didn't make a penetration. And he upended me, smacked my bottom and had another go, without success. And then he threatened me. He threatened me. What he would do if ever I would have mentioned a word about it. And of course I didn't. What 7-year-old would? And so I went through life until I was in my 50s or thereabouts. And I was a long weekend on meditation. And when they came around and drilled me on the head with the peacock feathers, I let out a scream. You know what? I could talk about it. I asked my mother, because she knew the boy who was then a general manager of a big firm. Was he married and so on? He wasn't, and so on. My father was just a bit rapeable, okay? But I'd kept that hidden all that time, and I'll tell you what, it's only just last few months, and I've decided to say something about this, you see? So I look at you all. How many of you have had experiences as young, and they're terrible tales I hear from others. Truly they are. And when I think of what happened in Ireland, with all those thousands of women, 80,000 women I think in Ireland, who were pregnant and were sent off to church places or other places, and they never set eyes on their babies. Quite often the babies are mutilated, and so they're there for transplants and so on. But you know what? Just think about this. No, supposedly it's the women. Nobody talked about the men who made them pregnant in the first place. Nobody talked about the men who made them pregnant. You see? Well, I come to the conclusion that these men were not doing the right thing if they're being intimate with somebody who's not their wife and so on. They should have withdrawn. All these boys should be taught very young age. Withdraw. Do the decent thing by the woman that they're involved with. All right. Anyway, that's a side issue. It's given me a chance to voice my opinion. I'm sorry it had happened to me, but because it happened to me, I can pass that on to you, and you can look back in all your yesterdays of what really took place in your life, and so on. You are who you are, you know. Anyway, so we go on from here, okay? The gallbladder. I visualise the gallbladder, so therefore, and I recommend to you all, learn something about anatomy. I went to learn anatomy when I was on the farm. For 2 years I went to listen all about this, that and the next thing about the anatomy. Okay, the liver. Now what's interesting about the liver, when you look at Louise Hay's book, or Dr. Cauldron's book, which I've got there as well, which is a permanent healing, called permanent healing, it tells you don't love yourself. See, so you've got to turn yourself around and do some thinking. I love myself, all right? Good. He's shaking his head too. Anyway, now then, how about the stomach? The stomach. Stomach, any issues on the stomach? So many people are not chewing their food properly, you see. Okay. Okay, the pancreas. This is where there's a presence of too much sugar that's in their diet, you see. The spleen, well, that's all right, that's okay. That pancreas in your case is not too bad either. Now then, I'm going to ask the question here in tune with Anthony. Is he anemic? Is he anemic? There we go. He's got no dashed energy. Got no energy, so he's got to be doing something about getting some more energy into himself. Is he anemic? Okay. All right. Now then, I can ask all sorts of other questions here. Could he do some dong quai? Dong quai, that's a female herb. No. That's saw palmetto. He could do it in saw palmetto. And here let me hesitate for a moment and say something too. It shows to me that he hasn't been eating food that's been high in soybean. I've been watching this whole process about the consumption of soy for 25 years. 25 years I've been watching this. We had a man that came back to New Zealand and bought a farm. And together with the farm, he built a large aviary in which to put colourful birds that he had acquired, to put them in there. And he sought the advice of the government departments, what should he feed these colourful birds? And they said, soybeans. And do you know what happened? They lost their feathers. They never bred, you see, neither did their two children. So the whole soy question should be big headlines in our newspapers today. No soy, no soy. The estrogen on those soybeans has an effect on people. And because they've been using the oil out of estrogen and they're making for cooking oils and so on, be careful in your